What's up, guys? Jaxel here. With the release of Zen Portal 2 on January 1st, I will also be releasing XenRio 2, which is my second most popular add on. XenRio, if you don't know, is a live streaming browser. It automatically scrapes the popular streaming platforms such as Twitch, Mixer, and YouTube for streams that match certain criteria which you can define and list them on your website. You can see it here. This is the basic layout. You can also have a tabled view, which I actually prefer instead of the tiled view. And you can browse it based on what types of streams they are, as well as what game they're playing, etc. And there is even a multi-viewer. The multi-viewer is pretty good. We got one stream there. Let's add another stream. And then let's add one more stream. And we've got our multi-viewer. You can switch between the different chat rooms. You can change which stream is in focus. It's the front end doesn't change much from the previous versions, but the back end has changed a lot. So I really want to make sure anyone who's downloading this new version uh, knows about the changes because a lot has changed. All right, so let's go into the admin control panel after we've installed the add-on. And we'll see a link here for XenRio 2. This will bring to the XenRio 2 control panel with all of our settings. We've got categories. Categories are pretty much exactly the same as the old version. Categories are just what's going to be here for selectable tabs. And then we have channels. You can submit channels to your database if you wish. Now, you don't actually have to use the channel system. It all depends on what your scrape settings are. We'll go into settings soon. Same thing with games. You don't have to use the games system either. It all depends on what your scrape settings are. In the games, you can, of course, edit games individually. Let's go to Soul Calibur 5. We have our game here, Soul Calibur 5. The background is the image that appears here in the showcase. Now, the showcase is always whatever your current top stream is. Now, I have Soul Calibur 5 listed as a featured game, which is this check mark right here, which means it got moved to the top. And so anyone who goes to our stream list will see this on top. We like to promote games for our Soul Calibur website. All right. And then we have spellings here. Spellings are a bit different than the old version. In the old version, what happened was if you wanted to add a game such as Twitch, you would type in Soul Calibur 5. Now, with the new Twitch API that's coming out and going to be pushed to, well, the old API is going to be deprecated in, I believe, July. And when that happens, we have to switch to the new API. And the new API no longer does game names by the actual spelling of the game name. Instead, it does it by IDs. So the ID for Soul Calibur 5 in the Twitch database is 31568. Now you may be wondering, where the hell do I get that ID? Well, that is the nice part. Let's remove it for now. And what happens is we need to add Soul Calibur 5 for Twitch, and we don't actually have to look anywhere for the ID, because when I click save here, the system is going to go directly to Twitch, search for Soul Calibur 5, fetch the relevant game ID, and place it as needed, which it just did. And of course, there are fixes for this. So if I put in a misspelt game and click save, it's going to say, we didn't find that game on Twitch. We can't use that. You need to go back and fix it. Now, this system, game restrictions, spelling restrictions, only work with Mixer, Twitch, and Smashcast. Yes, does not work with Stream.me or YouTube. They don't actually have a game-based restrictions. So if you want to use the game's restrictions, you cannot really use those services. You'd probably want to use the channel restrictions for those services. All right, so let's go back here, and then we have our services menu. Now, this is the really important part that everyone needs to pay attention to. Services, when you install the add-on, by default, all services will be disabled. So you won't be able to scrape for any streams because your services will not be enabled. So you want to go in here and enable the services you wanna scrape. On this test forum, I have Twitch and Mixer enabled. Um, Now for Twitch and YouTube, there's a specific thing you need to be aware of. Let's go into the edit for Mixer and not on Twitch because I don't want to show you guys my API key. But on Twitch and YouTube, there's a field called API key. Both Twitch and YouTube require you to have an API key to ping their API to find out the list of people who are currently streaming on those platforms. If you check the FAQ on the add-ons, there will be a guide on how to get API keys for these two services. But those API keys are not supplied by this add-on. You have to get them yourselves. But once it's set up, you'll be good to go. Mixer, Smashcast, and Stream.me do not require API keys, so you can leave that field blank for them. But for Twitch and YouTube, you definitely have to have that API key. All right, let's go back to this screen. We've got the force scrape button. Now, by default, your system will force scrape to get the current update the list of live streams every 10 minutes. If you wish to do it more often, you can actually force it to say scrape now. Generally, you won't ever really need to use this feature, and I actually don't recommend using it very often because of rate limiting, as you can see on that notification. But let's go into the options screen. All right, so first up is navigation. That is, of course, this tab right here. You'll notice I also have a 1 next to it. That is because I have told it to include the navigation with a count of the current number of featured streams. Now we have 1 featured stream because there's only 1 guy playing Soul Calibur 5 right now. We can, of course, do the full stream count, which would probably be, let's find out how many streams we have live right now. 219 streams right now. That's a bit excessive. So let's change it back to the featured count and down it's back to 1. There is, of course, enable periodic automatic scraping. This one, if you don't have this checked, then you won't scrape every 10 minutes. And then the only way to get a new list is with the force scrape button. Generally, this is just an on-off button for the entire system. You're going to want that on. I just have it disabled for now because this is my test forum, and there's no reason for my test forum to be pinging these APIs every 10 minutes. Now, restrictions. This is the one that confuses people the most often, so I'm going to go into a bit more about how this one works. If we click no restrictions, and then let's go back to force scrape. Okay. This will take a while because it's completely unrestricted. There we go. Now we go back to the streams list. We now have 51 pages of streams. What the no restrictions setting did is say we're just going to ping Twitch and Mixer because I have Mixer enabled. We're just going to ping Twitch and Mixer for the top list of streams on those platforms. I believe I have the limit set to 500. I'm not sure what I have the limit set to, but it just pinged for the top 500 streams per service based on the number of viewers on each stream. So right now, this guy is the most popular stream on Twitch. Oh, that makes sense. It's Christmas Eve, and most people aren't streaming, and he's doing a fireside chat, it looks like. Oh, no, this is the actual people who made Overwatch, and they're doing a Yule log Probably a chat stream. All right. So, anyways, moving on. As you can see, it's just a list of all the current live streams. Oh no, he's just sitting there. He's not even talking. He's doing. All right. Well, it looks frozen though, like they just froze him. Is he gonna scratch or something? Okay, I'm moving on. If we go to the channels restrictions, let's open this on another tab. The channels restriction will only ping the API to check if any of these channels listed on the channels list are live, which I think right now are probably 0. Yeah, so probably going to get nothing. Yeah, everything's offline. So it says offline, 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 offline. So there's none of these channels are live. So, but like I said, it's going to check to see if any of those channels are live and only post live streams that are within that channel list. The games restriction is similar. This will ping the API with the list of games in your game system, which is all the games I have here. And it'll list any stream that is playing that specific list of games. Very simple. But it's the last two settings that confuse people the most. Channels or games and channels and games. If we go to channels or games, what we're going to do, I'm not going to force a scrape this time because, I probably will. Let's just click save, channels or games, and force scrape. I'm doing this a lot. I hope I don't get rate limited. All right. Now, channels or games will do both channels and games, and it'll basically ping. It'll double ping based on both sets of restrictions. It'll ping the channel restrictions and it'll ping the game restrictions, and it'll find any streams that are playing any games listed in your games list or channels, any streams on the channels from your channels list. That's why it's or. So it's streams that are from your channels list or playing a game from your games list. That's simple. It's an inclusive search. It just looks at both of them. Now, the other one, channels and games, will actually just ping your channels list. It won't ping your games list, but it will go through your channels list and then throw out any streams which aren't playing specific games. So it'll just exclude them from the search. So channels and games will search for your streams that are from your channels list and playing a game from your games list. That is a very restrictive search, and honestly, I think most people should be using channels or games, but I have the options for people. The other options are pretty much exactly the same. I'm not really going to go into them, except this enable service-based chat rooms option down here at the bottom. Now, if we go into an actual stream, you can see we have the stream here. We can go to medium mode, which will just make it bigger. And then we also have cinema mode. And then the pop out, which I'm not going to click. But it's simple. If we disable service-based chat rooms and then reload the stream, what you're going to see is that there is no chat room. It's not there. We've disabled it. Now, the reason you may want to do this is because if you're using an add-on such as Saropu's chat system, he has a widget for his chat room. And what you can do is create a widget. Well, I don't have his chat room, so I'm just going to click HTML for now. And once you do that, you can place it in the position of the chat room. Stream view below chat. And it'll actually place his chat room right here. So if you want to use a different chat room or place a different widget next to the chat room instead of using the one built into whatever service you're using, that would be the way to do it. What other options were there? Well, we definitely want to use that. And of course, stream layout redirect is actually what I recommend using. So if we go to the stream list, instead of going to that individual channel page, just clicking on that will take you directly to Twitch. I think it's what, and we got music there. It's what most users actually prefer. I've spoken a lot with my users, and they wanted that. That's why I put that feature in. Beyond that, there is honestly not much else to talk about. If you like XenRio for XenRio 1, you will definitely like XenRio for XenRio 2. It's a lot better programmed. It does a lot less queries to APIs, so it should scrape a lot faster. Anyways, peace out, guys, and wait for January 1st for XenRio 2 for XenRio 2, and have a Merry Christmas. Peace out.